Hi, I'm Katie Fennigs from your co-op. Recently, I was able to visit the 4 lower Snake River dams in Washington, one major source of the hydropower we rely on in northwest Montana. Boy, did I learn a lot. Of the 31 dams in the federal Columbia River power system, the 4 lower Snake River dams were the most recently built. Dams on the lower Snake River produce an average of 1,000 megawatts in combination, but they have the ability in the winter months to produce much more than that, doubling and even close to tripling that capacity when regions like western Montana need it most in dealing with the very cold temperatures that cause our loads to be at their very highest. Aside from being superbly reliable, these 4 dams produce the most affordable electricity in BPA's entire portfolio. The challenging reality is that there is no perfect source of electricity generation that doesn't have some environmental impact. Dams constructed in the Columbia River Basin impacted the habitats of fish species that travel from the ocean into the river systems to spawn. The good news is that we have made substantial improvements to these systems to ensure that dams and fish can coexist. In fact, did you know that in 2024, we are seeing record returns of sockeye salmon into the federal Columbia River system? The lower Snake River dams actually feature some of the very best fish passage technology of any of these projects. Each of these 4 dams was originally constructed with fish passage, and continuous improvements and additions to their fish passage systems result in some of the strongest fish survival rates of any dam in the system. I had a chance to see this technology and much more in my visits. Tour along with me as I visit each of the 4 lower Snake River dams. The first of the 4 lower Snake River dams I visited was Ice Harbor Dam. Energized in 1961, Ice Harbor has a nameplate capacity of 603 megawatts. That's about 3 times Flathead Electric Co-op's entire average electric load. Like the other 3, Ice Harbor was built with fish passage in mind. Since then, even more improvements have been made as fish biologists learn more about how we can help fish better navigate the dams as they travel down the Snake River to the Pacific Ocean and back again. In 2016, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers installed a new turbine type at Ice Harbor Dam. Fish passing through these turbines have had a survival rate of 98%. That's amazing. Another alternative way to pass fish is to increase the amount of water spilled over the dam. Unfortunately, more spill can be awfully hard on juvenile fish due to impacts of falling long distances and the harmful increase in total dissolved gases in the water caused by more spill. Increased spill also reduces the amount of power that can be generated because less water can run through the turbines. Each of the 4 lower Snake River dams also has spillway weirs that allow juvenile fish to pass a dam near the water surface, decreasing the stress on fish of traditional spillways. They also all have bypass systems that divert juvenile fish around the dams. These technologies result in nearly 100% survival rates. Our modern ability to generate affordable, reliable, carbon-free electricity while passing nearly 100% of fish successfully by these dams make Ice Harbor a particularly valuable hydropower resource. So I'm coming to you today from Lower Monumental Dam on the Snake River. And just to give you an idea of the size of the power that is produced here, they have 6 generating units or turbines, each capable of producing 155 megawatts of power. And put that into a little bit of local scope for you. Flathead Electric's average load is right around 200 megawatts. So just one of the 6 turbines that are operating currently at Lower Monumental is roughly enough to power our entire service territory at Flathead Electric. I was able to tour their fish passage systems today, pretty fascinating technology. Both the technologies that allow the adult spawning salmon and steelhead to return to their spawning grounds from the Pacific Ocean up through the Columbia River system, as well as the juvenile fish passage systems that get those smolts back down past the dam systems as they return out to the ocean where they'll spend the majority of their life feeding and growing and getting large enough to return to their spawning grounds. When I toured the dam today, only one of the 6 units was running. This is because of the strict environmental regulations that dictate how these dams can be operated. me, you can see Little Goose Dam and Lock System. Little Goose Dam was energized in 1970, and with a generating capacity of 810 megawatts, this Little Goose packs a pretty big punch from a power supply standpoint. Power supply concerns are becoming increasingly important for your co-op. Load forecasts in our region indicate that we may see in excess of 30% load growth in the next 10 years. The 7,000 additional megawatts that it will require to meet those load growth projections will require a build-out of generating capacity and transmission that is unprecedented in our region. It's going to take every resource we have, including this Little Goose, and a whole bunch more to meet those load growth projections, meet our climate goals, and keep our area's power reliable and affordable into the future. Behind me, you can see Lower Granite Dam. Lower Granite was energized in 1975. I just completed an extensive tour of the fish passage operations with the head fish biologist for Lower Granite Dam, and I have to tell you, I was absolutely blown away at the technology that exists at this dam. The care and concern put into ensuring that these dams and our salmon populations can coexist is really, truly an honor to have experienced. The fish biologist at Lower Granite refers to this dam as the last and first, meaning it's the last dam on the Lower Snake River that steelhead and salmon encounter as they navigate to their spawning grounds upriver. And it's the first dam on the Lower Snake River that those returning smolt encounter as they travel back down the river and out to the ocean, where they'll grow for the rest of their lives before they return to spawn. And although all 4 of the Lower Snake River dams included fish passage technology when they were first constructed, that technology has just continued to get better and better over time as our fish biologists have continued to better understand the scientific steps they can make to improve fish passage technology and survival rates in the Columbia River Basin. People often don't realize that there are more fish in the Columbia River system today than there were before the first federal dam was built on the Columbia. Before these dams even existed, salmon were harvested almost to extinction. As a public power ratepayer, a large portion of your monthly electric bill funds fish and wildlife programs to support these fish and their habitat, and your investments are working. Let's take a closer look. The 4 dams on the Lower Snake River are a series of multiple dams in the Columbia River Basin. The first federal dam on the main stem of the Columbia River, Bonneville Dam, was energized in 1938. Since 1938, our region has made incredible progress, seeing steady increases in fish returns and survival rates in the Columbia and Snake Rivers. In fact, did you know that in 2024, total salmon and steelhead returns to Bonneville Dam were the highest that we have seen in the past 9 years? And those total fish counts are more than triple the number of returns we saw in 1938 when that dam became operational. And let's travel all the way up the main stem of the Columbia River into the Snake River and past each of those dams to Lower Granite Dam. We see that the total salmon and steelhead returns counted at Lower Granite Dam are more than quadruple the adult returns counted during that project's first year in operation, which was 1975. This data illustrates that dams and fish can and are coexisting and are continually improving, thanks to the efforts of so many stakeholders in the Northwest, including those of you who pay a bill to Flathead Electric Co-op and other public utilities in the region. Yes, we can accomplish both big, challenging goals. We can continue to care for and improve fish habitats and survival rates, and we can also generate the carbon-free hydropower our region desperately needs to keep the lights on and to keep electricity affordable.